It's a delight to see you here.
Thank you.
Yes, it's great.
Thank you.
It's my first time in the Netherlands.
Oh.
Is it yours?
No, thanks to Rene Otto,
Yes.
because I started my journey in Holland. Multiple times I have come. I have been to Nijmegen, I have been to Den Haag, I have been to Eindhoven. I have been to many places in Holland, thanks to Rene, who helped me to organize my teachings. So it's like a second home for me.
So have you had your talk yet here?
Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock is my
9
talk.
o'clock. And you're talking about?
I'm talking about efficacy of homeopathy in palliative oncology care.
Ah, okay. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Can we have a little bit of insight before tomorrow?
So basically, I did my MD, and after about 15 years, I did my PhD in the field of oncology, and now I head the chair of palliative oncology. So I work in a government hospital, which is free for poor people, and I also work in a private hospital. So 2 private hospitals and 2 government hospital, where I conduct outpatient department, and I also have a private practice. So in government hospitals are very overcrowded because the population of India is too much. So on an average we see about 12 to 13,000 people who come to our outpatient department every single day.
12 to 13,000 people.
Yes. And we are 460 doctors who take care of these patients. And I manage the homeopathic part, and other doctors in different specialties like cardiology and pulmonology or gynecology, they look after their cases. The outpatient department starts exactly at 8 a.m. in the morning, and we finish the outpatient department at 11:30 in the morning.
So do you have other homeopaths working with you?
So I have trainees who can work with me, but only medical doctors can join the hospital. And what we do is basically that it's a free hospital, and at least I see 80 to 60 patients in about 3 hours. So it's very difficult to take a lengthy case taking in
Slightly.
OPD. Because
it's not much time at all.
11:30 another OPD will start,
Yes.
Another new doctor will come. So what basically we do is that I employ some homeopathic trainees who take the history and keep everything ready for me.
Yeah.
And then I have to
do
and then I have to verify. I do physical examination if it is necessary, and then I teach my students the keynote prescribing, what is the peculiarity in that particular case, and I select a remedy on that. Once the patient starts feeling better, in the next visit, which may be after 15 days or 1 month, we try to extract more history from the patient and then finally try to treat the patient on constitutional basis.
Yeah.
But on the first few visits, we always do keynote prescribing.
And the potency is in liquids or pills?
Usually we do what is known as an oral water medicine dose.
Yes.
So we always tell people to put some drops in water and then shake it and then take it.
Right.
But this is in the municipal hospital where the population of people having homeopathy is too big. Sometimes it goes above 80 also. In private, we don't do that. So in private, we see only 3 new patients in 4 hours. So here we do what is known as a proper homeopathic case taking. We have a case taking pro forma, a form of 42 pages.
Yeah.
Now again here the clinical assistant will fill everything, medical records, x-rays, scans, MRI, CT scans, biopsy report. So we have a internationally accepted protocols that we follow in different cancer hospitals in United States. So we borrow from MD Anderson mostly, and the protocol that they follow for their cancer patients. Every cancer patient has a different protocol. So if we are treating prostate, prostate has a different protocol. Lung cancer, different. Cervical cancer, different protocol. So we feel that protocol when we start in the beginning.
Ah, okay.
But that's the modern medical part which helps us in our statistics, and that also helps us in medico-legal problem.
Have you found the protocols
Yes,
are
yes.
working
You
really
can
very
download.
well?
You can download.
No, but to work well?
Of course.
Yeah.
Without that, we cannot work in hospital, in a private setup. So once we do that, we go to the homeopathic angle. Now here, it is very important that in the whole organon, aphorism 6 is very important. And many people call aphorism 6 as unprejudiced observer. Hahnemann begins explanation of aphorism 6. He says, forget all your theories which have never been confirmed. What is important in the case is the change from the previous state to the disease state. And this change cannot go unnoticed by a careful observer who is a homeopathic physician, and he observes those changes with the help of patient symptoms, relatives, nurse, and people around him. These people will help you to know the changes that has taken place. Totality of symptoms should be purely based on those changes.
So that's where you would use your master score?
Yes.
Always putting in that?
No, not so early. So first we try to find out the changes.
Yep.
So that change could be a chemical change, physical change, mental change, spiritual change, emotional change. It could be any change. But you have to identify why this man has developed symptoms as compared to when he was totally healthy. So this is what Hahnemann writes in aphorism 6. Mind you, he is not talking about case taking. He never says case taking. He never uses the word in 6th aphorism. So this is very important. So even if you take 3 hours in case taking, and if you are unable to find that change, your case taking is not correct. But if you take case taking in 20 minutes, half an hour, and you found out what led to this, let's say you had a financial loss, and after financial loss you had heart attack. Come on, that's very important because that's the change.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Understood? So we try to identify that change. Now, what are the symptoms that has really affected the person after the change? This is where the language of the repertory comes with the language of the patient. So patient will say, okay, I lost money, but I don't care. I will earn it well again. One group of patient. Second group of patient will say, oh, I lost money, I feel like committing suicide. Both have lost the money, but the approach is totally different. The feeling is totally different. Third person will say, oh, this man was responsible for losing the money. And I will see to it that I'll take a revenge on him because of him today I am on the road. So you see 3 different type of sensitivity.
Yeah,
What is the sensitivity of the patient to a very common cause? Common cause you have found out through art of observation. What has made the change? Now try to find out exact words of patients into the rubric form. If somebody wants to commit suicide and he is depressed, you can directly take sadness, loss of money, sadness, loss of fortune, ailments from loss of fortune. These are the repertorial language. In the third case, who is very angry, so you can always think of hatred and revengeful as very important rubric. And in the first case, you can just take ailments from losing money. Understood? So like that, we convert the language into the repertory. Now, once even that is done, we don't ignore the physical generals. Physical general and constitutions are very important part of homeopathy. So this is the second part. How does the patient look like? What kind of constitution he has? Does he have furrow on the forehead? Does he have emaciation of the neck? Does he have a very big belly? Does he have a thin extremities? All these constitutions are explained in our textbook of Materia Medica, and they are all there in the repertory. Somebody is tall, somebody is fat, somebody is dark skinned, somebody is brunette, somebody is blonde. All this is given. So we look at the physical constitution. The hairs are red, black, grey, white. All these are described. The skin is smooth, rough, hard, cracks. All these are, we pay detailed attention even to the nails. How nails are shiny, nails are dull, nails have ridges. Once you do look at the physical constitution, then we look at the physical generals. Appetite, thirst, desires, aversion, sweat, menses, sexual symptoms. And then finally we look under the sleep, dreams if at all there are any. So we look at the dreams part also. And then we convert all of them together in a rubric form. And then we see the analysis. But it's not that the first remedy becomes the right remedy.
Of course.
Because the remedy that comes in the first few, let's say first 4 or 5 remedies, you should learn the art of differentiation. And art of differentiation directly is dependent on the core understanding of each remedy. Many times polycrest will come first. But that doesn't mean that sulfur, calcarea and lycopodium are the remedy for the patients. Because the core feeling of the patient may not match the core feeling of the sulfur, calcarea and lycopodium. So what we do is we start giving marks to those symptoms which has changed from normal to the current situation. So we start giving grades.
So you really put that emphasis
Yeah.
on the change.
Yes, so then we put the grades. And we see to it that the remedy that we select should have this. Now, sulfur does not have that very important thing, losing money. Sulfur doesn't have this kind of symptom of losing money. Losing money goes more in favor of aurum. Losing fortune goes more in favor of aurum, even though aurum may be coming 16 in your repertorial analysis. So then we think of aurum. Then we again look for aurum, whether aurum covers physical generals or not. And then finally physical particulars. But we always see the change symptoms first, the generals, and finally the particulars. Once we are very satisfied, then we go to the reference column in the radar opus and check in Materia Medica that our thinking matches the Materia Medica or not. So basically, based on those checking with the authentic and legendary Materia Medica, the idea of master school came in my mind. Because what happened is that basically more and more new remedies are coming every year. I think so every year we are adding about 100 new remedies in homeopathic pharmacopoeia, and now we have got more than 6,000 plus remedies. And it's humanly impossible to learn all those small remedies, which even doesn't have a proper proving. So what I thought was that I will only select in my master's course those remedies, either they are totally proved in a deep constitutional way, that will be around say 150 remedies or so, or the remedies have been used by physicians from Hahnemann till 1960s. I took that date line.
Why did you choose that date line?
Because after 1960s, lot of new things came into homeopathy slowly, and we were not able to confirm that. So
these you felt were
1960,
really
64,
confirmed.
till 64 I can say,
Yeah.
I will take those references. So what we did was, we saw all the journals that are there in EH, that are there in Opus, and we saw which remedies are in which cases and which cases got cured. So we give that importance in master score. So first the proving, then clinical Materia Medica, then from the journal, and finally from my practice.
And then that gives the ability
then-
to be much surer about
Yes,
the remedy.
yes.
And yeah.
Yes. Now see, pulsatilla also has got desire for egg. But how many cases of pulsatilla you will see in your practice? Desire for egg. Desire for egg is more in calcarea. So here the grading of egg in calcarea goes much higher. pulsatilla also has got desire for cheese. But we don't see that kind of desire for cheese. We'll always think of Cistus canadensis. So like that, we have based our scores on how popular you think you find those symptoms in your own practice. Somebody sleeping on tummy is a good symptom of medorinum. But tuberculinum also has this. But we see not so frequently sleeping on tummy in tuberculinum. So this is how master score works.
Yep.
So it's very authentic. So after repertorization, I always check master score. What does the legendary author say? So we had selected about 27 legendary authors whom we feel are very genuine and have done the drug proving or the clinical proving or the clinical hints are very important to us. So that is why I think so you can save yourself, because before master score we were using other scores. And in other score there were small remedies, medium remedies and main remedies. And many times in median remedies and rare remedies, the repertorial will only cover one rubric. Now that's very funny, no? You have taken 27 rubrics and the small remedy covers one, medium will cover three. What helpful it is to us? It's of no help to us.
No.
So that is why I invented master score. And it works very good for me, and so far I've got good feedback from my colleagues also. But it needs more and more improvement, so we have to still work on it to make it better. In the past, I used to edit my own authors and make my own views. But the present opus does not allow you to edit the views, because we want to remove certain authors that comes in the repertorization. But anyway, when you put master score, it comes on the top of the analysis and removes all those authors automatically.
So you've been able to do that particularly for the master score.
Yes.
Yeah, which is important.
Which is important.
Yeah, very important.
So it's a very important network.
Yes.
Which will hide all those other authors.
Yep.
And only the trusted authors will come up.
Be there. That's a very good quality of that.
So maximum intensity that I use is 3 marks, 3 times. So basically the change, which we are talking about aphorism number 6, those I'll always give 2 marks. Two marks. Don't use too much 3 marks unless it's a very, 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 very strong thing. Like somebody says that for breakfast, lunch and dinner I can't live without a meat. Okay, meat becomes 3 marks.
Yep.
But if somebody says that I love to eat meat and I enjoy eating meat, it's still 1 marks. But somebody says that, look, if I don't eat meat for 3-4 days, something comes in me and then I need to eat. I give 2 marks. So be little very careful, because the score in algorithms will multiply quite a lot, and unnecessarily the remedy will come in the front.
So you have to be really clear about your markings,
what marks you are giving.
Will lie.
Yeah, so somebody's life has been devastated due to some tragedy in a very bad way, of course give 3 marks.
Yeah.
But somebody says that, no, I have a business ups and downs, and the money matter is always there on my mind and this. And maximum you can give 2 marks, but don't give 3 marks. So be very careful when you give grades in the master score. But grading always will help you to put the drug in the front, which covers that particular symptoms. So that is also very important. So without grades, the master score may not be so effective, but if you put grades on important symptoms, the score becomes, efficiency will become much more better.
It's really good to know.
Yeah.
I mean, even the example that you just gave about, yes, my business a bit up and down. I mean, it really could stay as a 1, because that's really quite common with running a business.
Yes. We get regular students from all over the world who wants to get that self-train. But as an observer, I don't teach them personally anything, but they can come and stand and observe and see how we practice in the hospital, how we practice in the private clinic.
How do they go about doing that?
So on my internet, there is a special column, talks about foreign students. So many times we get people from all over the world regularly, throughout the year we get it. And we take not more than 2 to 3 students at a time. We usually give them a training for about 2 weeks. They follow me in every hospitals I go, they follow me in my private clinic. And regularly I take lectures for my clinical assistant. That's one thing. But all over India, I regularly take seminar at a national level, visiting various medical schools and teaching them in person. Mostly I teach them advanced pathology, clinical training, the art of examination of the patient and correlating it with homeopathy. That's very important. So
and
I
is
teach
the
that.
main thing oncology?
Yes, and main thing is oncology. So I do that, and then of course nowadays in-person seminars are becoming very less in all over the world, at least after post-COVID. But I don't have much time to teach on internet basically because my working hospital hours in hospitals are very long, and then I get tired to teach again on internet. So I prefer in-person teaching, and then whenever a chance comes, this year I'll be going to Poland and Hungary, and then to Turkey, and then to Thailand. So 4 times I will be going this year to different places. And whatever opportunity I get, I would love to spread the knowledge that I have gathered for last 43 years and try to bring up the good classical homeopathy up.
How long do the students stay with you?
Some stay for 10 days, some for 7 days, some for 15 days,
So
depending
it's quite
on their
short.
financial capacity, because Bombay is little costly city. To stay in Bombay and to eat in Bombay is costly compared to other cities of India. So it's a little difficult. So depending on your personal budget, we charge $350 as a donation from every student.
Does that matter for the period of
for
time?
seven days. And we use that money for poor patients. So we don't keep the money, but we use it for poor people who can't afford medical treatment. That's the idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah. And so you find that the students learn enough in the 7 to 15
some people come
days?
regularly. Some people come every year, every few years.
Yeah.
We have people who follow us also, and then they invite me in their country. So it's an exchange program, you know.
So it works well.
So this is my advice for beginner. See, young students, you all should remember that in the beginning part of your private practice, please use Boning-Ocean's method. That is the best method for every beginner. Location, sensation, modality and concomitant. Just work on all these 4 areas. Sphere of action is not difficult for student to know which part of the body is affected, correct? Then comes sensation, the pain, what kind of feeling the person has. Then the modality is not very difficult to note down, and any concomitants around that. Base your totality simply on these 4 things. I tell you, you will get results. Patients will start feeling better. Don't go on the mind method and dreams method and all those methods in the initial part of your practice, and select your cases. Just don't take every case that comes to you. Take cough and cold, take allergy, take ear infection, take allergic rhinitis, take some dysmenorrhea. Enough. That will help you to pay off your bills, and you will still earn good money to eat bread and butter. After 5-6 years of practicing this Boning-Ocean method and mastering it, use Boning-Ocean repertory for that. We have this repertory already in Radar Opus. That's what I used to do a lot in the beginning. I have written a book also, how to use Boning-Ocean's repertory. So you can do that method. Then gradually go to the mind. Exploration of human mind is not very easy. Majority of the patient will say everything is okay, nothing so great, nothing so great. At least in India we see this. Maybe in Europe they want to talk a lot on mind and emotion, but in India people don't talk much about mind. So I don't have much experience in Europe, but for in India, what I would suggest is after 5-7 years when the maturity comes, you can ask some fears, anxiety, likes, dislikes, passion, and then look for the cause. Again, go to sixth aphorism, and then as years pass on, maturely take some more difficult cases like rheumatism, osteoarthritis, and then finally when you are 10-15 years experience, you start handling cancer patients, autoimmune disease, diabetes, heart patients. Just don't take kidney failure and cancer patient in the first year of your practice. Please don't do that. I see that. And then there are big failures and they damage the patient and the name of homeopathy spoils. So this is my advice to the young generation. Start with Bonninghausen method.
Do you still use Bonninghausen? Just even with initial oncology?
No, oncology came quite late in my life, honestly. So I did my MD only in 1991, but I did my homeopathy in 79. So between 79 and 91, I was practicing most of the time Bonninghausen's method.
Right.
Because India has got a lot of malaria. So we have got a beautiful chapters on fever in Bonninghausen's. And those days, Kent repertory never had those symptoms which we wanted to see in malarial patients. We get dengue quite a lot in India, you know. So that also helps us. And a time came that every monsoon, malaria became very endemic all over India. So we had to sharpen our skills in homeopathy to help the patient to recover from malaria as fast as possible. And Bonninghausen repertory is the best repertory to treat malaria.
Ah, that's good to know.
So epidemic diseases are very important to treat. Chicken pox, measles, you can treat very easily with Bonninghausen's repertory. And if you can treat even epidemic disease in India, you can make a lot of money. Because at any given time, if either a flu epidemic, flu goes, chicken pox comes, chicken pox goes, measles comes, measles goes, malaria comes.
Yes.
But that's what, if you look at the life of Hahnemann, he hardly had a time to treat other diseases. 80% of his life he was treating epidemics.
Well, then, yes, and also too in his time, acutes were a lot more prominent, and we didn't have the chronic disease that we have now.
Exactly.
For many reasons.
That's the main thing. Yeah. Learn to treat this epidemic disease which comes regularly. Nowadays we know we had COVID, so now so many strains of influenza keeps on coming in Bombay. One strain goes, another strain comes. So be good at treating influenza. What is influenza? Nothing but cough, cold, running nose, that's all.
Yeah.
So if you know this cough, cold and running nose remedies by heart, you'll become a champion.
And you can do it really quickly.
Then
see a lot of patients, which is important in India. One, because you mentioned before, the population. Well, thank you so much. It's been really good to have a chat. It's been quick, but it's always lovely to see you.
Thank
Farokh.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you
and
so
you
much.
always have such wonderful information.
Thank you so much. Bye.